never changes. The Norks have taken over the 5 dragon worlds. Or is it 6? With their vast army, they have stolen all 12,000 treasure. Or is it 14,000? But war never changes. Well, that's different. Greetings, gamers, and welcome back to Level Complete, the show where we see if an individual level is just as good or just as bad as the games they come from. Spyro the Dragon. I believe no introduction is needed, as any gamer worth their salt has at least heard of him. Even if that means all you played is Skylanders, which, yes, we're talking about the same dragon, just not the same game. Like many of you, though, I was introduced to Spyro from his first game, simply called Spyro the Dragon for the PS1. Though today, we're going to be focusing more on the Reignited trilogy, since it is prettier and there's not that many differences between this and the original game. Apart from the dragons. Like, are you telling me this is the same guy? In Spyro the Dragon, you go to several hub worlds that take you to the awesome levels that this game has. As a child, I remember spending most of my time playing around in 2 different hub worlds. The first was Dreamweaver's world, but only because I love the shrinking ray cannon. The other, probably not surprisingly, was Peacekeepers. I spent countless hours just in this one world alone, running around seeing what kind of hilarious situations I can get into with the Norks. From blowing them up with their own cannons, to having them blow themselves up with their own cannons, to burning tents and finding terrified Norks hiding under them. It was all good fun, and I never wanted to leave. Now I ask the all-important question. How does it hold up with the rest of the game, considering as a child, I love this world over everything else? In a previous video, I stated that if the level isn't fun to anyone, then it is doing something wrong. Could it be that Peacekeepers is just too much fun? Spyro the Dragon, for the PS1 specifically, got an average rating of 8.5 out of 10. A high score to be sure, but I think Peacekeepers is up to the challenge. First, let's talk about the hub world itself. I already mentioned that as a child, I loved playing around in this area, and that hasn't changed. While getting the footage for this video, I still found myself toying with the Norks every chance I got. Besides this, I found the hub world to be the perfect test of Spyro's ability to glide, without punishing the player too much. And the dragons offer some decent advice about what to look out for when playing the game. The music is simple but catchy, and even to this day, I find myself humming this tune whenever I think about Spyro at all. If I'm being honest, the main draw of this hub world is the Norks. They pose little threat to Spyro and are there to make traveling from one level to the next enjoyable. Speaking of the levels, let's talk about them. Dry Canyon is the first one you usually come across, and it's nothing really special. It's easy for players new to 3D platformers to get through, but it really rewards those who have mastered gliding, to the point that even the dragons will straight up tell you to be a good glider.
Dry Canyon rewards good gliders. You are a good glider, eh, Spyro?
I was born to glide.
Clifftown is the next level, and I always look forward to this one, mainly due to a particular enemy known as Pueblos. They made the most amusing sound when they were defeated. Just listen! Can we hear that again? Can we get 2 in a row? Now let's hear them in the Reignited trilogy, in HD! How could you do this to me? On top of this insult, the dragons in Clifftown are rude. Sure, there is one who reminds you you can't flame metal armor, but then there's this guy.
What's on the other side of that river?
Why don't you glide there and find out?
Oh, I'm sorry I asked you a question just after I freed you from your prison, you ungrateful son of...
You've reached the highest point in Clifftown. You can get to almost anywhere from here.
No, it's clearly higher over there, and I could probably glide almost anywhere better over there. Now I'm getting false information. Alright, it probably seems like I'm hating on Clifftown, but it's actually a good level. I'd just be repeating what I said about Dry Canyon, that it's easy for new players, but it rewards experienced ones. The next level is the Ice Cavern, and anyone who knows me well knows that I automatically hate ice levels. That being said, this is one of the best ice levels I have ever played. The slippery ice mechanics you usually find in other games affect certain enemies in this level, and not Spyro. On top of that, the gems do a decent job of showing you where you can and have to go to get more of the treasure or dragons. Speaking of dragons, there are more dragons in this level than any other level in Peacekeepers. A couple thank Spyro for releasing them, and one gives some bit of backstory to our little purple friend. But there are two dragons that give conflicting advice. One reminds Spyro that he can't charge large enemies. The other says that there are large enemies wearing armor, which makes their feet very slippery, suggesting that you defeat them by charging into them. I know Ice Cavern has both armored and unarmored large foes, but I could see a young child getting confused by this. In fact, I know some adult gamers today that would be confused. The boss level Dr. Shemp is the next level you would see, but I'm going to skip ahead and talk about Night Flight. It was clear to me that the difficulty of this level is much higher than the rest of Peacekeepers, almost as if it was meant to be done much later, like after the flight level in Magic Crafters or even the one in Artisan. It punishes those who try to deviate from the set path and gives just enough time to complete it when following said path. Unless, of course, you know the exact distance of Spyro's flame. In my opinion, it is the more prettier flying level, but it is probably the worst Peacekeepers level, as it will probably frustrate a lot of people. Finally, there is Dr. Shemp, the boss level. And I have to say, I really like this level. It incorporates everything you have learned throughout Peacekeepers. Large enemies, enemies wearing metal, the boss being a large enemy that wears metal. It even has a tricky gliding part that only those who have mastered gliding can do. The whole level feels like a test at school to see how much you have learned, and your reward is a big guy jumping around with his arse on fire. Peacekeepers will always be a blast to go through. I feel like the first Homeworld Artisan is there to show how the game looks, where Peacekeeper shows how the game plays. Spyro the Dragon got an average rating of 8.5 out of 10. I give the entire Peacekeepers world a 9 out of 10. Spyro the Dragon is an amazing and fun game, and it's Peacekeepers that shows you how much fun you're going to have, no matter what kind of gamer you are. Whether you are a casual gamer who just wants to do the bare minimum to get from world to world, or you are a completionist looking to do everything, Peacekeepers has it all, and it's because of this that I give it a slightly higher score than the rest of the game. Yeah, I know I said the Night Flight level would probably frustrate a lot of you, and yes, it is sort of the reason why I didn't give a 10 out of 10. Yet, when you do get frustrated, Peacekeepers has the answer. You can just go vent it on all the Norks in hilarious ways. Pretty brave of you to do this in front of a dragon. I could just walk away for your bravery. Nah. Welcome to the end of the video, viewer. You can continue watching by clicking on one of the videos on screen. Use your left mouse button or finger to like and subscribe. If you want to see more of me and can't wait for the next video, you should click on the link below or go to twitch.tv/CoremanGaming and watch me stream daily. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next level.